So introduction. We already know to produce a same kind of organism. Every organism produce same kind of organism. And this is a characteristics of all living organisms that you have studied in 6th class. So the production of new individual from their parents is known as reproduction. Reproduction, reproduce. So there are different modes of reproduction in plants. As we know, there are two types. One is asexual reproduction and second one is sexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction and its types we have discussed in the first session of this chapter, and this is a second session. Now try to observe this video, introduction about sexual reproduction in plants. So what you are observing is here a plants. Okay, so these are the plants and plants have a flowers. So these are different flowers. See here the male gametes are produced, that is pollen grains. Here it is a female gamete, ovule. Okay, so what you have seen in this video, the entire how the sexual reproduction will takes place in plants. So flower is there, flower has the different gametes, fusion will takes place, zygote will produce a result in formation of a seed, and that will germinate and the cycle will continue. Now we'll see one by one. See, so the life of plant started from the seed, it will germinate, grow step by step and become the whole plant. So when this will again get mature, so the cycle will be repeated. Now, so the new plants are obtained here from seeds in sexual reproduction. So to produce a seed, flower is the reproductive part. So what is important here? Flower is important. So flowers contain male reproductive organ, a part that is called a stamens, and female reproductive part, so that is called a pistil, a carpel. So stamen and pistils are there as a reproductive part. So apart from these, what the flower consists? Now if you see a diagram, see. So there is a sepal which is green in color. So there are a petals which are in a different color. So here we can see that a bright red color. Then here there is a stamen. Stamen contain anther. So here there is a filament and anther will produce the pollen grains. So here there is a pistil. Pistil contain a stigma. Central part is style and the basal solan part is ovary, and inside the ovary, so there are ovules. So this is the diagram of a flower. Okay. Now the first part is sepal. Sepal is generally green, leaf-like, and protect the flower in a bud stage. Okay. Second part is petal, which is brightly colored in a different color, yellow color, red color, we have seen blue color, to attract the insects for pollination and to transfer pollen grains. So important part for reproduction is stamens. They are the male reproductive part. And the fourth important part for reproduction is pistil, female reproductive part. So these are the main four parts of flower: sepal, petal, stamens, and pistil. Okay. Now, see, there may be a question they will ask you, label the parts of a flower. Now I will show a one by one arrow mark. So try to, you can write your answer in your notebook also. Now you can type. See, what is this part? Yes, this is stigma. What is this part? Yes, that is style. What is this part? Very good. Solan part, that is ovary. And what is this part? Yes, anther. What is this stalk? Yes, filament. And what does the anther produce? Yes, pollen grains. Okay. So these are a reproductive parts. Now, so this stigma style ovary called pistil and anther filament called stamen. Now, what is this part? Okay. So this is a sepal. Now, what is this bright part? So that is petal. So diagram will come and ask you to label the parts. Okay. Now, we'll take one by one. See, stamen. So stamen is a male reproductive part. It contains, see here at the tip, there is an anther and a stalk called filament. So the anther contains, produce pollen grains. Generally, when you touch a flower, so to your hand, a yellowish powder will attach. That yellowish color is nothing but a dust of pollen grains, which produce male gametes. So male gametes are present inside the pollen grains, and pollen grains produce in the anther. So pollen grains have a tough protective coat or layer, which prevents them from drying up. Okay, so they preserve pollen grains. Okay, so what you should remember, diagram of stamen and parts of stamen and where the pollen grains are produced. Now see, so this is anther. So here there is a long filament. When you cut a anther, see that there are chambers and they are called pollen sac. And inside the pollen sac, there are number of pollen grains. And you can see here, a pollen grains are in a different shape, in a different size, even color. Okay, but generally yellow color. This is micrographic picture. Okay. Now, carpel or pistil. It is a female reproductive part present in the center of a flower, generally center. It contains three parts: ovary, the solan bottom part; style, middle elongated part; stigma, the terminal part, which may be sticky. Generally, stigma is sticky to catch the pollen grains, allowed to germinate. So the ovary, inside the ovary, it's contain ovules, like pollen grains, here ovules. Inside the pollen grain, male gametes are there, and each ovule contain a female gamete, or what you call egg cell. Okay, so these are the different parts of flower, stamen and pistil. Now see, so ovary may be like this, style and stigma. May be like this, ovary, style, stigma. Again, diagram, definitely they will ask in examination, draw the diagram of pistil. You can draw any one of this. Okay, very simple diagram. Okay, now, so types of flower based on whether the flower is unisexual, single, a flower which contain either only the pistil or only the stamen, and both are not present in the same flower. For example, corn, maize. You might have seen maize, the upper part is male and the side part is female. Papaya, so there are two different plants, male papaya, female papita plant, or cucumber. Then second one is bisexual, bi and two. So flowers which contain both stamen and pistil. So both stamen and pistil present in the same flower. So that flower is called bisexual flower. Best example is mustard, rose, or petunia. hibiscus, that is China rose. So many flowers are there. Most of the flowers are bisexual and very few are unisexual flowers. Okay. So male and female unisexual flowers may be present on the same plant or may be present on different plant. For example, maize, corn, both are present on same plant, but in papaya, male is different, female is different. Okay, so this is about the types of flower, unisexual and bisexual. See here, so this is a female flower, okay, cucumber, pumpkin, and here it is a male flower. See that only stigma is present and here only anthers are present. But in this you can see center ovary is there and surrounding are anthers. So this is bisexual flower. This is unisexual. Like this, see, anther and ovary present in the same flower, bisexual. Here only pistil is present. It is female flower. Okay, unisexual flower. Now come to the pollination. Now flower, stamen, anther, pollen grains, pistil, ovary, ovules. Now pollination, you can see from this anther, so these pollen grains transfer to this stigma or from this flower transfer to this. Okay, so this is what you call pollination. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of pistil. Stigma. So there are two types of pollination. Self, same. Transfer of pollen occurs in the same flower as you have seen in the diagram. I will show you second. Cross, like that, cross. So pollen is transferred from one flower to another flower. Here two different flowers. So here to here or vice versa. Okay. So cross pollination, transfer of pollen grains from one flower to another flower is carried by certain agents, pollinators. The agent may be wine, water, animals or insects, and general insects are butterflies, honeybees. Okay, so this is about pollination. Pollination, transfer of pollen grains. Types: self-pollination, cross-pollination. Okay, now you can see that. So the anthers from the pollen grains from the anther are transferred here in the same flower. This is also self-pollination. On the same plant, two plants of flowers are there. See, here to here, this is also self-pollination. But here, this is one plant, this is one plant, but species are same. So pollen grains transfer from this anther to this stigma or vice versa. Okay. Now, so after pollination, there is a fertilization. What is fertilization? The process of fusion of male and female gamete. Fusion, union of male and female gamete. Male and female gamete is called fertilization. So once the fertilization takes place, fusion takes place, result after fusion of the gamete, the single cell, and that is called zygote. So what is produced? Zygote. Okay. So the zygote further develops into embryo. Okay, embryo, and that embryo develops into baby. Okay. Now see that how this will take place. See, pollen grain deposit on the stigma. So the pollen grain germinate and produce a pollen tube. And here inside the ovary, there is a ovule, and the ovule contain a egg cell, ovum, and that pollen tube carry the male gametes like here, and here the zygote formation takes place. Okay, or you can see another diagram to understand. See that one stigma may contain many pollen grains. See the step-by-step stages, and this pollen tube carry this to the egg cell is here, and there is one more cell, polar nuclei, that will study in higher classes. Here only remember egg cell, that is female gamete. Okay, female gamete, and pollen tube carry male gamete. Okay, now you can see how here it will takes place. Sepal, petal. So these are the different other parts. See, this is stamen, male. So here there is an anther, filament. Now center you can see. Okay, so here it is a female gamete. See, the pollen grains are transferring here to here. So this is cross. So who will carry wind or water or pollinators like insects. See, there are different structures. See the stamens, how they are enter and see how they enter. There are certain differences also. See that wind and water pollinators. So stamens are generally outside the flower. Okay, they are within the petals. Now see that when the pollen grain will deposit, now how it will germinate. Stigma. Now see this will germinate. See that. It will go to the ovary. Here there is a egg cell. Now see that one of the male gamete. So here one will fuse with the polar nuclei. Another one is coming. So it will fuse with the egg cell. So this is called fertilization. Now see that it will become a fruit and here it will seed. Okay. Now, so what is the result of fertilization? After fertilization, the ovary grow into fruit. Okay, fruit. And the other part of the flower fall off. Okay, fall off. The fruit is ripened ovary. Okay, so when the ovary will get ripened, that is called fruit. And the seeds develop from the ovules. So the ovules become seed and ovary become fruit after fertilization. And the seed contain, okay, a small baby plant that is called embryo enclosed in a protective seed coat. So some fruits are fleshy and juicy. You might have, this is the season of mango. So mango or oranges, they are very, very fleshy and contain the juice. But some fruits are very, very hard like a almond or a walnut. Okay. Yakko, you have seen most of the fruits or just you see that this is a gram seed. This is a mango fruit. This is the coconut, apple, strawberry, and here is a almond. So here fruits are there and inside the fruit seeds are there. They may be fleshy or they may be hard. Okay, just recollect from your house. So what kind of fruits you are eating. Okay, now. So once these seeds are produced, now see the germination of seeds will take place. See how the seeds are germinating here. So these are a wheat seeds. See roots will grow. Okay, see that very beautiful. Now see these are the roots and this is a shoot. Now this is you can see dicot plant. Maybe a gram or a pea. See that how it is coming outside the soil. See here at a time. This is a real time camera. See. So these are pulses crop. Okay. So beautiful germination you can see. See this is maize, yeah, corn. So that is what you call when the seeds are produced, they will germinate and then again they will produce flower and the cycle will get repeated. Okay. See this is pea crop. Okay. Now, so once the seed is produced, so before germination, it should get dispersal. So in nature, same kind of plants grow at a different places. So seeds are produced here, but that seeds will go in different areas and there the plants are produced. So this happens because seeds are dispersed to the different places. So what are the advantages? Yeah, benefits of getting seed dispersal. So the main advantage, it prevent the competition. If the all seeds are fall in the same area, so they will compete for the food, sunlight and water and minerals. So therefore growth will not take place. So they will spread all over the direction. So it also enable the plant to invade a new habitat or wider distribution. So they will spread their species in a different areas. So these are the two benefits of seed dispersal. But question is how they will go in a different area. Methods. So seeds and fruits of plants are carried away either by wind or water or animals, including human beings. We also carry. So we'll see certain examples. By wind, see the winged seeds of drumstick and maple. So, or seeds of grasses, or even the hairy seeds of Okia mathar. So these are hairy fruit of sunflower. Okay, so hair like structures are there. They are very light in weight. So if these structures are present on seed, so it will become a very lighter and that will spread through the air. So that will carry. You might have seen in your garden wherever grasses are there, or you can see certain examples here. So they are get blown off with the wind to far away places. Okay, so what they should have, there may be wing like structure, yeah, hairy like structures. Okay, you see in the diagram, see, so this is a wing or this is the wing. Okay, see these are muffle, this is a drumstick, or here you can see the hairy like structure, and these are the black color one is seed and these are the hair. They are like a parachute, so they will blow away with the air. So that is by wind. Now come to your water. Now you can see here coconut floating in the water. So when the coconut will fall, it will carry by water at a distant places. So the fruits or seeds usually develop floating ability. They have a spongy. When you remove that shell of a coconut, you might have seen a fibrous outer coat. So that is make the coconut to float in the water, and along with the water current, it will go to a different areas. Okay, so example is coconut by water. Now by animals, you can see here in this plant there are a spiny like seeds, yeah, fruits. So spiny seeds with a hook, the hook like structure, so which get attached to the bodies of animals. You might have seen the sheep or a goat or any other animal when they are moving through the bushes. So the seeds will attach with their help of their hooks, and they're carried along with the animals to a distant places, or even when they eat the grass or any other plants. So the seeds also go, and the seeds are come outside the body through the cow dung, and when the cow dung will displace in a different areas, so that also get spread. So the best examples are xanthium and urena. So here this is the xanthium which has a hook like structure, and this is one kind of a weed that grow in our crop. Okay, so this is how the seeds are dispersed by wind, by water or by animals. So the fourth method is that is by sudden jerk. So the fruit will break, and when it will break, so the seeds will get spread to a distant places. So when the fruit burst with a sudden jerk, so the seeds are scattered far from the parent plant. So they will go like that, jerk, just like a jet. You can see this one in castor or a blossom fruits. Okay, so they will break. So in this way, by four methods, here the seeds will disperse from one place to another place. Okay, so this is about seed dispersal. Now you can see how that dispersal takes place with the help of this provided by the discovery channel. Seed dispersal. Now here you can see the seeds are germinating. Already you have seen. See, these are the flower blooming. See that seeds are throwing. See, this is by wind also. See that burst. Okay, so this is sudden burst. See, that will also burst. Then these are the seed. See that embryo, a small plant. So when it will dip in the soil, it will grow. See that fruits will get ripened, how that color is changing, and then it will suddenly fell down. See that changing of color, the ripened ovary. See that animals will eat this fruit, birds, and they will carry. See that floating by wind, wing-like structure. Yeah, see that sudden burst, jerk. See that bursting. See how they are ejecting, sudden jerk. See spiny seeds. See that when the animal will pass, it will attach to the body. See, even by wind. See that by water. See that wind, water, even they will attach to our body. See that, okay, that is parachute-like structure. So when it will get dispersed, so it will germinate in a moist soil. See that root will produce. See that. Okay, so this is how the process will continue. Now, so just will summarize, then I will take your questions. So what you have learned? So flower is a reproductive part of a plant, that is sexual reproductive part. Flower may be unisexual, that is either contain male or female reproductive part, or the flower may be bisexual, which has both male and female reproductive parts. So that we have seen. So the male gametes are found inside the pollen grains and female gametes are found in the ovule. And male gametes, that is pollen grains, are produced by anther and the ovules are produced by ovary. So then once they are produced, so pollination is the process of a transfer of pollen grains from anther of one flower to the stigma of same or another flower. If it is transferring to same flower, it is self-pollination. And if it is transferring to another flower, it is cross-pollination. Okay. So pollination, that is self-pollination, same flower, cross-pollination, different flowers. In self-pollination, pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma of same flower. In cross-pollination, pollen grains are transferred from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of same kind. That is very, very important. Mango to mango, not different plants. Pollination may be achieved by, it takes place in plants with the help of wind, water, insects. Like seeds and fruits, how they are dispersed by water and wind, in the same way, the pollen grain also transfer from one flower to another flower by wind, water, and insects. So the fusion of male and female gametes takes place after pollination, and that is we referred as fertilization. Fertilization. So fertilize the egg. After fertilization, the egg is now called zygote, which is single cell. Okay. So once the zygote is produced, it slowly develops into embryo. And the embryo is a future plant which contain shoot and root. Okay. So then the fruit is the mature ovary. So once the embryo is produced, that ovary also mature, and that ripened ovary we called as a fruit. And we have seen fruit may be fleshy, juicy like mango or orange, or the fruit may be hard like almond or any nut, that is walnut. So ovules develops into seed, ovary develop into fruit, and the ovules develop into seed. So seeds contain the developing embryo, any future embryo. Okay. So the seed dispersal is added by, done by either wind, water, and animals. Now depends upon what kind of dispersion. So they have structures. For example, wind dispersal, they're light in weight, winged structure is there, hairy structure is there. If it is dispersing by water, they are spongy, okay, floating nature is there. If they are dispersing by animals, so sticky nature, the hook-like structures are there. So seed dispersal helps the plants in prevent overcrowding, that is competition. It will avoid competition. Avoid competition for sunlight, water, minerals, or even food also. Okay, and space, you can write space also. So dispersion of seed helps to invade new habitats and new climatic condition. Even some seeds can go by crossing the whole oceans also. Okay, so this is about this try to solve. MCQs. So generally they will ask MCQs. What is the first MCQ? The process of fusion of the male and the female gametes is called, a gamete is called. Mature ovary forms dash. Mature ovary. Okay. So the first answer is fertilization, and the second answer is fruit. Okay. So MCQ will ask in the exam, or even they will give you fill in the blanks. See that a flower may have either male or female reproductive parts. What you call such flower? Fill in the blank. The transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same or another flower of the same kind is known as definition. Third, fusion of male and female gamete is termed as dash. Seed dispersal takes place by means of dash, dash, and dash. Okay, so you can fill the answers. Okay.